Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Internet Friends, the episode where we figure out who will survive the zombie apocalypse. Spoiler alert, it is not Seth.
Nope,
It's not me.
First
I'm
10 minutes.
I'm taking myself out. I don't want to be in that for a moment.
I think I'm actually the only one remotely prepared.
Well, you're the Bill of our group.
True, this is true, and we'll talk about that later. How's everybody been? It's been a few weeks.
Long silence, I think, answers the question from both of us.
I'm so tired all the time, and I don't get paid anymore for how hard I work. So I feel like this shit sucks, actually.
Well, as we discussed in the pre-show, money's not real, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh
You're just doing this for fun at this point.
Yeah, what's the strength of the U.S. dollar now? Like 0? -5?
Nobody wants to fuck with us at this point. We don't want to fuck with us.
Even the Pope did it. The Pope offed himself literally after meeting our vice president.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yes, we can.
Absolutely, we can.
For a Pope, he was a good dude. Like, I think for a Pope, he had some pretty progressive ideas. He stood up for a lot of really cool things that no Pope had before. Yep. He did not wear the fucking Prada shoes because he was humble as fuck. He was a good man, and I'm sad that he's gone. Although if I met JD Vance, I would also die instantly, probably. I understand.
I would rather die than talk to JD Vance. We'll say, as far as popes go, bar is on the floor, you know. Mm-hmm. But again, like anybody having progressive ideas and trying to get the Catholic Church into a more progressive stance, it's like, good luck with that.
Very pro Gaza.
Yes, yep. I was gonna say that. Yes, very pro Palestine, which we love. So
again, like, you know, anybody who's, you know, head of any kind of religious institution, especially as one as big as the Catholic Church, can only do so much. But, you know, I will always be critical of Catholicism. You're never going to change that about me.
Oh, and by all means, I just like, you know, it's nice. We have to have these small wins where we get them. And I will say, I was in Italy like many years ago, and I regret not buying some of like the cheesy merch that had his face on it. I was like, man, now I can't do that. Well, I'm sure there's going to be an uptick now, but I was like, I should have at the time. Regrets.
I feel like there's going to be like a Ruth Bader Ginsburg trajectory where everybody's like mourning, and then people are going to like, you know, here's some shitty things that he did, and then it's just kind of going to go and then just peter back out.
Probably. I'm sure he wasn't perfect, but I think the things that he did stand up more loudly were pretty impressive. So
he definitely was not perfect.
Of course not.
He said the F slur a lot, even after being told that it was offensive and to not do it.
Oh no.
Yeah, he did do that a lot. Like, it's just as progressive as he was, there was still he was like a progressive grandpa where it's just like, you know, like you would have been so great in the 1980s.
I was saying, yes, exactly. Which again, when the bar's on the floor, I am gonna take what I can get. I'm not gonna say. But I'm sad about it, especially.
I constantly tell Emily I would like to thank men everywhere for setting the bar so low it's impossible for me to trip on it.
Yeah, you just have to be like halfway decent. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, just like the bare minimum. Yeah, and that's what I strive for in every aspect of my life. Bare minimum.
Which is how you ended up here.
Yep.
Yes, we love the world. You want to know who doesn't love the world? Some of the characters in The Last of Us, which was our most recent homework assignments assigned by Seth. So, Seth, go ahead and take it away.
I wanted to rewatch this because the second season just started, and I also thought it would be good for SEO purposes. And then I didn't watch a single episode until 2 days ago. And because I just kept putting off. I opened Max and I was like, all right, it's time to do this. You know what? I think I'm going to rewatch Chernobyl. I love the game. I really enjoyed the first time I watched the show. Didn't love it as much this time, but I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say.
I will say, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it online on my For You page, because obviously when you start watching something, people start talking about it a bit more. I think it was Jacques the Whipper who had a thing where he talked about playing Last of Us Part 2, the video game. He's just like, I played it once, thought it was a very great game, and never played it ever again. And I feel like the show follows that trajectory. It's like, you watch it once, and then you don't ever watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it is
not a fun show, for sure.
It's a very it's heavy subject matter, and it is emotionally taxing. And like we've talked about like kind of shows like this before, where it's just like it's good. It's objectively a good narrative and a good story. It's just very emotionally taxing. The episodes are very long and they feel longer than they are.
Yes.
And just like literally trying to like binge through a show like this is just exhausting.
I really noticed that this time. I was like, some of these episodes could be shorter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of them can be broken out into separate episodes even.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like the first episode especially, it's just like, I feel like you could have made this 2 episodes. You could have had the...
It's like an hour and a half almost. It's
like
long.
it's like you could have had like a shit hit the fan episode and then the time skip episode. Like this didn't need to be 1 episode.
Yeah.
They wanted to get into it though. I will say I watched this in a very weird way, but I'm glad I did it the way I did. On one screen I had the show, and on the separate screen I had a full gameplay, no commentary, so that I could literally have a side by side of how they progress the story. And I'm really grateful I did that because I think it made me appreciate what a fucking good adaptation this is. It was like so many scene for scene, even smaller scenes that were not that like huge. Like I was like surprised they kept it in. Like I was like, oh, this is word for word exactly from the game. And I just like, especially the first episode, I do get it's a little long, and they spend a little bit more time like setting up the world, but they have to. I think that's kind of the biggest thing because I think the tragedy of like The Last of Us, like it happens in the first 4 minutes of gameplay, almost 5 minutes. So it happens right the fuck away. It happens at about like the 15-minute mark in the show. So honestly, like comparatively, I feel like they did a really good job of like establishing the world, their relationship really quick, and how quickly this all happened. And it still had the emotional gut punch because it was funny because I was watching the game and the scene where Joel's daughter dies. I watched it, I cried, and then I went back to the show, watched it, cried again. It took a couple minutes. I was like, God, this is brutal.
No, I will going to the adaptation part. The show benefits greatly from one, Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann, and everybody else involved with the games being involved in the show. Definitely is an added benefit because a lot of times, video game adaptations to film and television have notoriously been bad.
Yeah.
Historically.
Yeah.
There's been some better examples in recent years, but this is like the first one that nails it, and I think it's because the people who actually were involved in the narrative got to actually be involved in creating of the show.
And it shows, like, it
immediately. And they actually did a good job of adapting and not just basically making it a beat for beat, like, remake of the game. They changed things that needed to be changed.
100%.
And some of those changes aren't necessarily going to hit 100%, but the changes were still made.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, there's something that I was going to mention, and I don't know if I'm remembering this 100% correctly, because again, I didn't finish all of this, but like I had a slight problem with the characterization of Ellie. She's a little more sassy in the show versus the game. A lot more swearing right out the get-go, and a lot more sarcastic. And I was just like, because I was watching it side by side, not that Ellie in the game wasn't, it was just definitely amped up, especially in like where she's introduced in the show. I was like, why did they do this? I don't think it's it's a weird change.
It is, and I agree completely. I noticed watching it this time that I was like, I'm kind of annoyed by her in a lot of these episodes.
Yes.
And I don't remember being annoyed with her ever in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is hamming up kind of the aspect, like, again, the difference between a character in a TV show and a character in a video game. Like, you do have to kind of separate out certain things. I think, first of all, a 14-year-old being annoying makes sense to me. So, I didn't have a problem with it. I think in a video game, if the character is supposed to be somebody you are trying to protect and keep alive, having them be super annoying maybe isn't the best way to get that across, which, escort missions, which basically is what The Last of Us is just one long escort mission. Mm-hmm. Just, you need to make the character a little bit more palatable for most people, whereas I think in the film or in the show, it's just like, she's an annoying 14-year-old girl who, grew up in an apocalypse. This is how she is.
Yeah. it was just like for me, this is like a very particular like critique, but I'm like, sometimes I feel like when older people are writing younger people, they're like, just make them swear a lot, and that'll sound that's what the kids like to do these days. Because like, like especially the scene where she's like, they first introduce her and she's chained up, like she's like, well, fuck this and blah, blah. I was like, this isn't Ellie to me. Like it was such a, and honestly, I will say it changes pretty quickly. I feel like it comes on really strong and then they tone it down a little bit because like. In the game, she does say fuck and things like that and give him sass occasionally, but it is definitely revved up in the introduction of Ellie. And I was irritated by it at first. So it definitely, it toned down as it went along, but I was like, I like this.
And I will say that is a critique on the writing more than it is the critique on the actress. She has gotten a lot of shit throughout, sorry. Thank you for correcting me. They've gotten a lot of shit throughout the course of the show, and honestly, I don't think it's justified. I think they do an amazing job in their performance, personally.
They're a great actress, honestly. I feel like I've seen a lot of things. So good.
Everyone was great in this, I thought. Not just the two leads.
Oh, yeah. I guess that kind of like leads slightly into, I think, I'm going to assume everyone's favorite episode, which was the Bill and Frank episode.
Such a beautiful episode.
Nick Offerman is so good in this episode. Just so good.
So good.
Also, the score is excellent. It's I think it's The Nature of Daylight by Max Richter. Max Richter is a phenomenal composer. Honestly, all of his stuff is so fucking good. But the fact, honestly, I'd like, this was a song I already had in my catalog, and then when I heard it, I was like, oh my god, it's The Nature of Daylight. Like, oh my god. And honestly, the best and most brutal fucking song to play, like, during that. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, I was already gonna cry. This just amped up my emotions like times 10.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is a beautiful episode more than anything else, because it does show specifically the humanity that is lacked throughout the entire show, like in the small pocket of just like, hey, just because the world's ended doesn't mean you can't like care for somebody and be able to thrive in specifically the environment of everything else falling apart around you.
One jokey note I have about that episode is, what are the odds the first person he decides to help is also gay?
Look, sometimes everything just falls in place, man. You just have to go with it.
Sure. Yeah.
At that point, I'm just like, look, not gonna argue it.
Yeah.
Also, at the end, like, at the end of the world, maybe preference isn't that big of a thing. You know what I mean?
That was kind of my vibe and take on it, where it was just like it felt like Bill's character specifically, like, maybe just didn't even really have a preference before everything fell apart, but now like he has somebody who he can emotionally open up to for the first time in his entire life.
It's a fair take.
Could be. Hard to say. I will say it is such a nice, I also like where this is placed, like, in the show, because one of the notes I had right from the get-go is like, they really don't hold any punches in terms of how self-serving Joel is as a character. Because like even like the very first episode where they leave that family behind and he's like, I don't fucking care, we gotta go, and he's like saying we should run over people. And actually, a super sidebar, but that driving scene, really fucking good. And also like I don't want to say panel for panel, but like it's literally exactly like the game, and they adapted it so fucking well. But like the fact that you see like this lack of humanity, especially in Joel, and just in so many different people. Yeah, exactly. It's I feel like you could be convinced very quickly. It's like, God, people are fucking awful, and I get why Joel is like this. Like, it's of course he's had the most important thing taken from him, but then to have this episode kind of right in the beginning. 100%. Before all of this, he was very self-serving, but to have this episode where you do get to see the beauty of humanity and like the humans craving intimacy and closeness with other people. It was a nice, like, I kind of palate cleanser. It was nice to be like, no, actually humanity's not all bad, I promise you. So
I will say that the show does a pretty good job of pacing, because like there's a lot of doom and gloom. Obviously you have Fedra stuff going on, you have stuff with the revolutionaries, you have stuff with the Fireflies, and like you see kind of just like, how power struggles create, oppression basically throughout, and then but you do get the pockets of just like, hey, like we get by and we do what we can for each other in the certain aspects of it. But like kind of skipping over like maybe quite a bit of stuff and like talking about Joel's character, which is very central to the plot. Like like the main thing I took away was just like Joel always was a terrible person in general. like from the jump, like the moment shit hit the fan, it was Tommy and Sarah. Everybody else can go get fucked. We're not going to stop for people, run people over with the truck, bulldoze your way through town. Does not matter. The rest of the world doesn't matter, and that carries through the entire show all the way to the end, which is a very controversial, topic for people to discuss. But it's just like it's one of those things. It's just like what people need to realize about Joel is that you can justify his actions any ways you want. The reality is he does not care. Yeah, he does not care about people. He does not care about humanity. He has the small group of people he cares about, and he's an isolationist. Like everybody else can go get fucked.
Yeah.
And also, like, him saving Ellie, as he puts it in the show and game, that was a selfish act. That was him being like, I can't lose another daughter. And, like, he's a very, very selfish character.
Yeah. And, like, going back to kind of, like, again, we could talk about the end of the season and, like, which is also the end of the first game. Just, like, there's a lot of people online who will like rationalize his decision, say like they couldn't make a vaccine, they couldn't do this, how would they possibly do this? It's like he didn't care about any of that. That was not his motivation whatsoever in his decision. Those thoughts didn't even cross his mind. He just did what he did.
Yeah.
And I think
when
go ahead.
When Marlene is like, we're gonna have to do this to make the vaccine, he's like, find somebody else. Like he doesn't care about the vaccine at all.
No. He never cares about it. And like I think the game maybe has, again, I haven't played it, I just know about it, I've seen playthroughs of it, but the game, because you play as Joel throughout the whole thing and you are technically in control of him when he is doing what he does, I think that has a more significant impact than the show, because the show you're just watching him mow people down. In the game you're a more active participant in the thing, and so there's a different like level of connection that people have. Although I will say people who never played the game or are familiar with the game watch the show and also try to justify it, kind of just goes, all right, so maybe you're also a shitty person.
Yeah. No, so when I was first playing the game, for listeners who don't know, I have a goddaughter who I was very involved with, instrumental in like helping raise her. And I was talking to my friend about the ending of the game. And I was like, yeah, Joel's so selfish, everything we've been saying right now. And he looks at me and goes, what if it were your goddaughter? And I was like, oh, I'd mow down that entire hospital.
Yeah.
Like, and it's fuck, no, I'm selfish too. Shit. All right.
Well, yeah. and that's the thing. Calling Joel selfish does not mean like we're saying like, I would never have done that. It's saying like, no, it was a selfish decision. Like, again, you get bringing in the rationalization that a lot of other people do, which in fairness, like the rationalization, I think I agree with. It's just like, how are you going to manufacture this vaccine? How are you going to distribute? Are the Fireflies even the best people to be doing that? Because it feels like they would pick and choose who gets it and everything else kind of like that. Like, just like there's a lot of ways that you could say like Joel was right, but the reality of it is his decision to do that had nothing to do with right and wrong. It was Ellie lives, I don't care about anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we said this in a previous episode where it's just like we can empathize with the decision and not condone it. That's kind of, I think, is like a huge example of this. Although, like very similar, I'm like, I think there's a lot of factors to this. Like, yeah, probably not the best decision overall. But one, he's dealing with a trauma that he has never recovered from, has never had time to recover from. So it just like, there's that. Like, it's not fair. But actually, it's something I want to mention really quick. I love that. His daughter and this girl look nothing alike, especially in the show. I feel like they really purposely cast somebody who looks nothing like her so that he can't even justify like, oh my God, you remind me so much about, it's like, no, that's clearly not your daughter, but you have never healed from these things. You've never gotten a chance to heal from these things. You are fight or flight all the fucking time. So that is a factor. But also I was actually looked into this because I was kind of just interested. On average, vaccines take about 10 to 15 years to develop. And that's assuming that they find material that's even worth working with, which they may not. As I mentioned, like really early in the show, the person who was an expert on this was like, there's not going to be a cure for this. That's not a thing that we can do. So I'm just like, granted, again, Joel did not know these things. He did not care, but it's like, it is, I think you could kind of intellectualize, just be like, I don't know, maybe maybe this they would have just killed an innocent person, but also we don't know that. So it's kind of you're assuming that it would fail.
One of the notes I had, Brie, going about one of your points with like his daughter and his trauma and everything, it's like this show really is the show where it's just like if you like kids, don't get attached to any of them because we're killing all of them except the one with plot armor.
Yeah.
Just oof. Like we're gonna make you really attached to them too. We're gonna make sure that you think they're adorable and like really cute and everything else, and then get ready to cry at the end of the episode.
And even the one with plot armor is gonna get traumatized horribly before the season's done.
Oh yeah.
Yep. No question.
The joke I made, so I think I was finished. It was literally the episode with Sam. So Emily had just gotten home. I was on the couch. She came in and so like we watched the end of the episode, and it's when his brother ends up having to shoot him. I was just like, everyone has trauma.
Yeah. I remember playing that moment for the first time in the game and like having to be like, all right, I gotta stop for a little bit.
Yep, I did the exact same thing. I was like, I gotta sit with this for a little bit.
Yeah. No, again, this is so like we're a week late again on shows, mostly because again we're all busy millennials, mostly Brie, and and it was one of those things where Brie was just like, oh no, it's fine, I haven't even started because I'm not mentally prepared for this.
That's why I put it off, so I understand. I was like, I'm so tired. I can't handle trauma like this. And I was so excited to watch it, but I was like, I need a minute.
Well, we went from Watchmen to Arcane now to like we basically like
feel good shows.
we were doing
going well.
Well, since the election, we've done a lot of light stuff, and so basically, I feel like we're just front loading like all the trauma content for the most part.
We're microdosing
I almost recommended the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie. That was the other option.
I've been getting so much Power Rangers content on my For You page.
That's every day for me. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
I did want to ask you both, because you both have played the game, yes?
I haven't, but I've seen playthroughs, and I'm familiar with the plot of both games. Okay. I'm the kind of person where if I don't play it right away, I don't mind seeing spoilers, so I know how both games go.
Perfect. And then, Seth, did you play it like when it came out, like in 2013?
No, I played it a few years later.
Okay, interesting. Because I was wondering if your perspective has changed in a post-pandemic kind of world, because I feel like it only changed me slightly in the fact that like I'm like, God, we'd be so fucked. We would establish a police state so much quicker. They would absolutely kill civilians. Like the fact that we couldn't even be bothered to fucking wear masks, which was a bare goddamn minimum. I was like, that's a factor too. I was like, even if they created a vaccine, I guess people wouldn't fucking take it. So
that was definitely part of it for me. It's like, no.
I acknowledge that I am the Bill of this situation. Like when the apocalypse goes up, it's just like I'm hunkering it down until like everything clears out, and then I'm just building a commune out of my neighborhood, and it's just me. Maybe my gay lover shows up in a hole one day, but like other than that,
that's what we're all waiting for, a gay lover to show up in a hole.
Ugh. So true. So true, fam.
It took you both a second.
I think it was an actual delay. No?
Maybe,
I blame Discord.
100%.
But no, that's actually an interesting point. The genre that this is in, which I guess technically falls under zombie apocalypse. Do we like this take on it? Because there's a lot of media out there. I think by the time Last of Us came out, the zombie genre craze had already hit its peak and started peter out. Like everybody was sick of Walking Dead at this point.
Yeah, I
think that this story does it pretty well because it's a little bit more grounded in how they approach it.
That's what I was going to say.
As opposed to Walking Dead.
The science of it is interesting. Because I feel like the whole cordyceps thing is like, honestly, like, obviously it doesn't work in real life application, but like the way they explain it, I was like, I don't know, this makes sense to me, honestly, especially like with the fact they're like, hey, things are warming up, like because of global warming, these things are adapting and now they can survive in a human host. And I'm just like, I don't know, that makes a ton of fucking sense to me. I'm like, it actually is horrifying to me how much sense it makes to me, because I feel like with a lot of things in this genre, like you really have to suspend your disbelief because you're like, well, this would never fucking happen. But like with this, I was like, I don't know, this sounds extremely, especially the way it got spread so quickly. And I was like, oh yeah, it was like through products that everybody fucking uses. And I do like that small note of like that it's in pancake mix, and he didn't have pancake mix at home that day. I was like, oh, brutal.
Yeah, or that she didn't eat the cookies because they were raisin cookies. So
yes.
She didn't eat flour.
Oh, crazy. Small details, but I love that.
Yeah. Aside from the, how, we get the zombies and everything else of this, it's just like, it's also like how different communities form and, the drawbacks of all of them for the most part. Because you have the example of, again, military police states. You have the examples of revolutionaries who take over and they're just as brutal as the military states. You have literally the communism line. It's just like, so it's communism. It's just like, no, it's not like that. It's just like, yeah, it is. We're on a commune.
It's literally communism.
That's what that is. But like having somebody have to get explained to them, it's just like, what you were taught in school about communism is not actually how that works. But but then you also see isolationism with Bill and everything else like that. Like you have these different kind of ways of how society isolates itself and reacts and comes together, tears itself apart. And so, and especially in the world that we're in right now, there's a lot of shit about how we decide we cooperate with each other, which is, an interesting topic for conversation. Brie, you okay over there?
Sorry, somebody's talking super loudly outside, so I'm just going to close my window really quick. There's some construction workers outside. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
Well, good news is I can't hear them on my side, so I think we're okay otherwise.
I couldn't hear them until she said someone's talking really loud outside, and then I heard it was Bane. I heard Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. I could just see you freaking out. I was just like, is everything okay, Brie?
I was just surprised how fucking loud they were being, because they just like, it was one of these things where like they were like, oh, we're gonna show up maybe sometime today, and they showed up now at fucking 3:30 to stay their deck. I was like, what's happening?
So I had work training this week, and I guess they were testing our fire alarm system, and so basically the like whole building fire alarm system is just like one loud high pitched tone that's just basically getting pumped into your apartment. Fox was freaking the fuck out the whole time. I'm trying to pay attention to like work training on my laptop, and I'm just like, I have to I plug my ears, I'm just like, it was horrible.
Oh no.
Nice.
Take that for you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, anyways, we're talking about how fascism is bad.
Yes.
What?
That was another thing that I don't remember, because Brie, have you played the DLC for like when her Ellie and her girlfriend go to the mall?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, was Ellie that big of a fascist in the game? Because she's like total pro-fascism and like the militias and everything. Well, they're there in the show.
Oh, in the show versus the game. Like the game, she was. Oh, I don't remember
because it's been so long.
Yeah, honestly, when I was watching it didn't cover the DLC, so I don't remember. I want to say probably not, to be honest. So that is a weird change.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to kind of approach in that narrative, and again, it also treats the revolutionaries as just as brutal as the fascists. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like,
Ellie gets so mad about finding the bomb, and it's like. You knew.
Yeah,
like you had to have figured.
That was the weird part. Like when she said she was part of the Fireflies, what do you think she was doing?
Yeah. No, I'm actually part of recruitment. I'm one of the people who walks up to Joel and says, "Are you looking for the light?" or whatever that stupid fucking thing is.
No.
Another note about the first episode, when Joel walks up and hands the security guards the drugs, first thing I wrote down is, God, I miss Hydro. Second note I wrote is, in quotes, later on in the episode, I told you not to come out tonight. Why is tonight special? He's breaking the QZ. He's going out. Why just tonight? Do you got is your boss doing a walk around? Like why now?
Yeah, I mean, it was maybe in a plot point excuse to make it to where like patrols are just heightened for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't think it's that significant, so not sure why. I did want to mention,
I was very high when I was doing this, the first couple episodes.
Again, heavy show. You need to have some level of like inebriation. I remember your TikTok when the show was coming out. He's just like, I have my emotional support beer.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I would take my edible at the beginning of the episode. By the time it ended, I was like, okay, great, going to sleep. So it was a really good experience. I didn't have time to be sad. So
yeah, can't be sad when you're sleeping. That's what I learned the hard way.
I disagree. I could be very sad in my sleep.
So sad.
Let me tell you.
Joel's a Libra, in case anybody's interested. So a Libra king.
Oh.
So Libra men are the worst. So honestly, that makes a ton of sense.
Did you look up his co-star or something?
No, because like the first episode, it shows the date, and I just looked up zodiac of that date because that's his birthday.
I want to state for the record, the only reason I know what co-star is because of my wife.
That's fair. Co-star's unhinged, which it's very fun if you're going to be into astrology. So.
Astrology is one of those things that I have nothing against it, but my brain refuses to record any information about it. And like I've had it explained to me numerous times, and it's just like it goes in and back out immediately. My brain's just like, nah, we don't need this.
It's like when you're a car person trying to explain like how like engines work to somebody, and like you explain it and it just like completely passes over their head. That's basically when astrology people talk to me. I'm just like, nope, I did not retain any of that information.
I just think it's fun girly things, to be honest, and also
that's fine.
Yeah, no, like I said, I have nothing against it.
Yeah,
I wish I knew more about it.
Emily's been doing tarot readings recently, so it's like it's fine. I have nothing against it, and like I don't fucking know, like if anything is like real or bullshit, but like it's fun, and like there's just like you put into it what you want to put into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't like not talk to somebody because they're zodiac sign unless they were a Cancer. But outside of that, I would totally.
I like how you and Emily both have the fuck cancers.
Cancers.
My mom's a Cancer.
That's on brand. That's on brand. I bet your mother. That's on brand.
Hate to hear it.
I love my mom. Shut up.
That's fine.
My sister's a Cancer and I adore her, so it's all good. Just sometimes the worst. So. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because Libra men, the worst. I dated one Libra man and he had a lion tattoo and he explained to me for like 45 minutes the symbolism. Oh, I know. And like, let me tell you, it was the most boring fucking story I've ever heard because every person that's like, tattoos have to have a meaning, give me the most boring story about the meaning of their tattoos that I've ever. I don't fucking care.
Here's my story. I was 18 and stupid. I was 22 and stupid. I was 23 and stupid. I was leaving New Mexico at 24 and stupid.
I was saying, like, this is my favorite bird. I thought this looked cool. So it's like, no, it's really not.
It's like, it was Friday the 13th and they were doing like the free tattoo session. So I got a little thing done.
Yeah. And look at that. Not boring. And it's still, you're like, oh, cool tattoo. Neat.
Yeah. I was like, it could be a story, but it has to like, I don't know, not just be like this weird ephemeral thing. Just be like, yeah, no, I got this because of where I was in my life.
I think people when they're like that, it's usually people without tattoos, they're the ones that like, oh, tattoos have to have meaning. I was like, oh, really? You who doesn't have one? Cool. Love hearing that.
I don't have one because I have no meaning in my life.
Yeah, I was about to say it's just like it's just like tattoos have to have meaning, so you don't have a tattoo because your life is meaningless.
110. Like, yeah, that's all there is to it. And then again, these stories are always when they give me this backstory. I was like, I didn't ask for your lore, my dude. Like, I just I don't care that much. It's not like I'm sure you think this is interesting. Keep it to yourself, bud. Don't get.
Yeah, unless directly asked, I'm not really gonna give you any kind of details about the tattoos.
Also, everyone has a lion tattoo. It's not that interesting. So.
Yeah. Everyone has a lion. Everyone has angel wings. Everybody has a tree of some kind.
Or an infinity symbol.
Yeah.
Joke's on you. I have a guitar with angel wings and I have a wolf.
Who's playing the guitar?
And I have an infinity symbol made out of a lion.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
I've speaking of dating somebody with a shit tattoo, I've dated too many people with infinity symbols, and it's always when you see it for the first time, it's always like, yeah, things are lining up.
Those were pretty popular in like the 2010s, so it was just kind of the happen.
That's true. Oh, and the Harry Potter tattoos. I get those.
Oh god, those are my favorite. The amount of people who unironically got Death Eater tattoos is like, you realize that's you saying you're a fascist, right?
Really, they might be into that though, honestly. So.
True. A lot of people still support JK.
Yeah. Oh, but exactly. Also, why are we going after asexual people now? You're literally going after people who are literally doing nothing to anyone.
Leave them alone. Asexual
literally.
Coolest. Like, leave them alone. They are so unproblematic.
You're literally going after the people who are actively not doing shit to anyone. Literally, that is their vibe.
Oh god.
What a bitch. Let's have a good show. J.K. Rowling, what a fucking cunt. We hate her. I wish the worst for her all the time. So.
Official stance of the show.
Yeah.
Fuck TERFs.
Do you think the mold in her house is somehow related to RFK's brainworm?
I think if we do end up in a Last of Us situation, it will be from the black mold in J.K. Rowling's house.
Probably. I think it's all coming together.
She's patient zero at this point.
Absolutely.
Or maybe she's the one who's, we need to perform surgery on to find a cure.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah. We should definitely take out her brain.
And we know Pedro Pascal's not going to murder the entire hospital because he also hates her.
Yep. Oh, that was big news this week.
Yep.
He called her a loser.
And he's right.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. How dare he have correct opinions?
Yeah. I do love how many people were like excited and happy about that when that is like the least offensive thing you can call somebody you hate. Yeah. Brie used harder language for her 3 seconds ago. Like,
again, official stance of the show. Everything Brie said is official stance of the show.
And I don't use the word cunt very often, just so we're clear. That is a special occasion word. But J.K. Rowling, absolute fucking cunt. Trans lives matter, thank you.
I did use it in my most recent Pathfinder session toward Emily's player character, and everybody's at the table got like really like shocked and offended, and it's just like, that was in character. Everybody chill.
That was my yeah. That's always what I say when I've committed a hate crime. It was my character, not me.
Well, it was the fact that I directly called my wife a cunt in front of everybody. So we had to be like, just so everybody clear, this is in character. Emily understood it.
Commit to the bit, friends.
Yes.
It's a classic tabletop RPG table where there's some people who don't understand the bit and other people who do. And it all varies. We have a min-maxer, we have a chaos goblin. It's just all over the place.
Sounds like fun. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boop, boop.
Another thing I noticed while watching this is David, the preacher guy from like the second to last episode. I remember when that episode came out, seeing a lot of men be like, I didn't realize he was like a total creepy weirdo until like that scene later on. And I was like, I pinged that the second he walked on screen. My first playthrough of the game, when the horde is coming after you and you get like you and Ellie and he have to work together. I was trying to kill him. I kept throwing Molotov cocktails at him and shooting him. And I'm like, why won't the game just let me do this? This fucking weirdo creep.
Really a bad person.
It is one of those things like with a game that's so on rails when you're just like very obviously like, no, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
But like I was instantly just like, okay, so cult, pedophile, cannibals. Okay, got it. Like literally everything was so obvious from the jump.
Yeah.
Yay, cannibal pedophiles, my favorites. Can I just kill all of them, please?
What kind of meat is this? It's venison. Don't ask any more questions.
Oh no. Oh no.
Really weird way to use Troy Baker. For an episode. Because like at least like Ashley got to be Ellie's mom. That was like a good symbolic, passing of the torch type thing. It's just like, but we're gonna use the voice of Joel as like just a random character who's gonna get offed right away.
Yeah. Oh, he was in a good deal of that episode.
Well, yeah. I mean, Troy Baker's a good actor, even outside of his voice acting work.
I had two more quick notes. Just one, I want to mention that the environments in the show, they fucking knocked that out of the park.
Yeah.
I think everything they did visually was like, especially this is an earlier episode when they're going through like the hotel. I'm like, this is the fucking game. Like with the like a lot of things underwater and like the set, like they really did so fucking good with. I mean, it because I feel like there's a lot of ways to like it could have just like, oh, this looks like shitty video game background, but I'm like, oh no, like they committed to the visuals of this, and like it is well worth the effort. Clearly, it looks so fucking good.
Yeah, whoever was in charge of set design deserves a raise. Like the set design was incredible, especially the mall that Ellie and her friend were in that one episode, the flashback episode. Like just such good design. You have like all the storefronts that would have been opened in that time frame. Going and everything else, just like so much attention to detail, and like done practically too. Like aside from some of the action scenes, like they used a lot of practical effects for the most part.
Yeah. Well worth it. It looked so good. And also my only other note was holy hell clickers. I forgot how horrifying they are. Like, and honestly, the episode where they're first introduced, like I was like holding my breath because I was like, God, I remember this experience like in the game. Like they are such, and I don't play a lot of games like this, so this was pretty like significant to me where I was like, I was constantly like, I had to take breaks from the game because I was like, these creatures are so fucking scary. And like, just knowing that you can't make any sound, you're holding your breath. And again, just watching the show, like I did the exact same thing where I was like, I need to breathe really quick. So I'm like, oh my God, they're going to hear me. So, but like, honestly, the designs of those so fucking cool. I thought they did really well with adapting those looks as well. So honestly, I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the show. I think they really committed to the bit and adapted this in such a cool way. And the clickers are a great example of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a note I have is the little kid clicker is creepy as hell.
Oh yeah,
the one that crawls in through the window and then is like flipping.
Oh yeah,
that
was horrifying
to get to Ellie.
That was legit horrifying.
Then you got the bloater ripping that guy's head off.
Oof, yeah, horrifying.
No, like as far as shows go, it's a very good show. I like how character driven it is and character focused. Like I think one of the problems with thing like say like a Walking Dead is they're constantly introducing and getting rid of characters constantly. It's impossible to keep track of. This at least makes it to where it's just like, okay, here are like the core people who are really kind of involved and specifically like following their story, and there's not too many branching paths for you to have to keep track of.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have one more super small note, and I didn't write this down, but I just thought about it. Something that I love that they did not do in the this isn't in the game, and I was worried that they might take this direction in the show. The relationship between Joel and Tess, that it is kind of like implied that they may have a romance. I feel like they handled it very well, where there was definitely some like intimacy there without it being like we got to like one last kiss before I go, babe. Like I feel like especially like TV execs love making more overt romances where like there shouldn't be. Like they kept the subtlety of that relationship really well.
The chemistry was there, but the fact that they did not make it over, I think was wrong. And it's one of those things where it's just like I never felt that Joel loved Tess. It's just Tess was the person who was closest to him at this time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My reading on the relationship was always they were both like equally traumatized people that like, well, we can't stand anybody else, but we can tolerate each other.
Yeah.
So we'll
and he still had that protective streak with her. You saw that in the episode and like everything introduced where like he sees that she's roughed up and he's ready to like go to the wall for her, but she's just like, nope, don't do that. I know you. Yeah. Don't do that. I know what you're gonna do. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah, just, I love when there's not romance, where there doesn't need to be. So.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about in other pieces of media that we've watched where there's like romances that like are just like this was forced, and like I think we talked about that with Blade Runner, where it's just like there's no chemistry here. What are we doing?
Why is this happening?
I have one jokey note, which is the outbreak started in 2003, meaning they never got to experience the glory days of emo, and that's the real tragedy of the story.
Oh, wow.
Well, in the new season, they have Ellie blaring Urbana in one episode while she's in the garage.
It's true. That's not emo though.
It's the closest thing they had after 2003.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
Let's be fair here. But no, it is weird that, like, you know, this does follow an alternative history, and so you do have to put your mindset into, like, okay, what was life like in 2003, and like how this diverges our path now, because like you remove a lot of cultural stuff that we deal with now from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but it also makes to where like 9/11 is just like happened, but do we really care about it anymore?
bigger fish to fry, as it were. So.
Yeah, much bigger.
I already forgot about 9/11. So anyways, this ties into kind of a thing that we put on the topic doc, and so since this is based off of the video game, and a video game that has gotten a lot of remasters and everything else since its initial release, how are we kind of feeling about remake and re-release culture as far as like that goes?
I get a lot of people's frustration. I don't know if this has been on either of your FYPs, but a lot of people have been mad about Naughty Dog releasing like the newest edition of both Last of Us games again. And I understand the frustration. I'm a little confused as to why like Bethesda doesn't get that same level of hate for constantly re-releasing things like Skyrim, why Rockstar doesn't get that for Grand Theft Auto 5.
I think it's different from a certain perspective of that, going back to like Bethesda, because they just re-released Oblivion. But like it's a full ground up remaster of Oblivion, which you have to remember Oblivion came out in the was a launch title, I think, for the Xbox 360. So like that game gets a big quality of life of update. The Last of Us, on the other hand, has been like a game that basically like came out on PS3, PS4 launch, got like a remake almost right away for PS4.
Yeah.
And then has had a PC release since. Skyrim, again, going back to Bethesda, is just like, okay, more or less, like, this game just basically comes out on every single console. Like, if it's a new thing, it's very easy to port over. So if you want to play Skyrim, you can get it on whatever platform. I think that's a little bit different, whereas, like, Last of Us still locked down from Sony. And then Skyrim also has, like, the mod support that goes along with it. It is one of those things that's like, as long as there is a quality of life thing added to it, I think it's fine. But it is also one of those things, like, if I already own it on PC and you're releasing a remaster, I should just get that as an update. Like, I shouldn't have to repay for the game.
Or a smaller price point if you already own it. I feel like there should be like some sort of incentive, like if you already have, because I feel like I'm honestly all about remastering, especially there's so many older games that they're just not playable as they are anymore, or just like look like ass. So it's like, I'd love to be able to like play this game now with like slightly updated graphics, and maybe some bug fixes. I think that's great, but it does suck that I have to pay full price, which is now pretty fucking high, for a game that I already played. So
it is also the opposite of the Nintendo problem, where like they'll go after like ROMs and emulators for games that like you can't get anywhere. Like this game doesn't, you can't buy this game anymore. There's no way you can play this game except from getting an emulator. So like it's just like one of those things where it's just like, as far as I'm concerned, fuck off. I'm going to download the ROM and play it on an emulator if that's the only way I can play this game. But, you know, as far as like places being like, okay, so like if you want to re-release something on the Switch and I get to play it on the Switch, okay, I will pay to play it on the Switch. But if you're doing like a whole remaster on PC and like I already own it on PC, just give that as a patch update. Don't make me have to pay another $60 to play the game. And I think that's where kind of the discrepancy comes from.
Yeah, it's fair. I think there's a middle ground somewhere. Like, I think I wouldn't mind it, like paying another like $20-$30, like especially if they
and
put
there
that
is nuance. There's absolutely
sure.
nuance to the situation. Like, we're not talking about like a Final Fantasy VII, where like if you compared the remake to like the game that came out on the night, like that's a completely different game. Calling it a remake, it a remake is like that. They're completely different games.
Both good though, in my opinion, but totally different.
quality of life on the original Final Fantasy VII is not great though.
I haven't played it in a while, but I kind of want to.
It's on Xbox. I've tried playing it, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, this doesn't hold up great by today's standards.
I've never been able to get into the Final Fantasy games.
That's fair.
I mean, they're all super different. Like every game is like basically an entire game. The only thing that's same is that the Final Fantasy is on the title.
Yeah, 7 and 10 are top peak for me, but that's a hot take in some circles. So
really, I thought that's like the most generic. Like, yeah, these are the two really good ones.
I know some people.
I know some people love 8.
Oh yeah, there are those like 5 people that like Final Fantasy 8.
Nobody talks about 9.
No, it's so funny you say that because I think that's actually reverse. I've known a lot of people that really don't like 10. I feel like 7 is a very standard fave because I feel like that's what a lot of us grew up with. But 10 was a little more disliked for a variety of reasons, especially because people didn't like Titus and didn't like some of the updates. I'm like, I think 10 is an excellent game. 9 is a fan fucking favorite, and I could not stand that game. I played it because my boyfriend at the time was like, it's the best game I've ever played. I was like, this one, the one I'm playing right now, I think you're mistaken because this sucks ass. So people love Final Fantasy 9. 8 is a little more like, I feel like most people didn't like it. I liked it okay. My disc was scratched, so I couldn't play past disc 3, but I liked what I played. I wasn't like over the moon about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
They have the gun sword, so you know that's neat. If you're 15.
It's a sword that's also a gun.
Revolutionary, truly.
It's all fun and games until somebody starts talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Listen, first of all, how dare you speak about my people this way?
Hey, Brie, do you want to spend the next 2 hours explaining Kingdom Hearts lore in a way that makes sense?
No, I would like to tell you that you should only play 1 and 2, and I think all the other games are shit, and I shouldn't have to have different consoles to play the same series. 1 and 2 are masterpieces, 1 especially, and that is...
Those are the only 2 I've played, so...
That's the way to go. A lot of people would fight me on that, but I'm just like, the rest is nonsense. Those games stand alone very, very well. They're super fun. Granted, I grew up with them. I did want to mention as well, which I don't know if either of you have played, but I would love a Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise remaster. I will pay top dollar.
Viva Pinata mention on the show. We can go ahead and cross that one off.
That game's a masterpiece.
Oh man.
Or Black and White, if either of you played that, because I am ride or die for Lionhead Studios, so I would take a remaster of Black and White as well.
Yeah, they delayed Fable again. So
I'm so sad. I'm so ready for it.
I will never get mad about a video game delay ever.
Oh no, for sure. I'm just like I'm excited.
As far as I'm concerned, don't even announce a game until it's actually ready to go. In my opinion, like I would don't even tell me you're working on it. Just be like I think it was Fallout 4 where they were just like Fallout 4's coming next month because it's already done.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Didn't bother to tell anybody. Like, it's just like, that is actually what I want video game studios to start doing. It's just like, start working on the thing, get it done, get it polished, and then say you're releasing it. Instead of being like, coming out in like 3 years, and then 3 years goes by. It's just like, we need more time.
I feel like that works though. They like shadow dropped Oblivion, and people, I mean, that got bought up really quick. Like people, like they didn't announce shit, and then all of a sudden it was there, and like everyone I know is playing it. So.
Yeah, and everybody says it's good for the most part. Like it's just kind of like, do that. Just like don't even tell me that that's a thing you're working on. Just work on it, and then when it's ready, drop it.
Please.
Like.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, that's the gaming industry for you, which is also, seeing some rough times. We talk about it a lot on this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm pretty sure gaming is like one of the few things all three of us agree on. We're all like into different shit. And then
that's fair.
I don't know. We have a lot of cross overlap, but I feel like even in the gaming space, we all like different kinds of games. Bree's more in the indie space, but like there's some crossover there. Seth, you like your shooters and like kind of your more like narrative driven based games. I like a little bit more kind of like open RPG style type stuff, but like there's overlap there.
100%.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about?
I don't know. I had put on here that the Hello Kitty
Island Adventure.
That was you.
It was
okay. Because when I clicked on the link, it took me to like a website where I didn't recognize anything that was on it, and it was telling me to download the iOS app, and I was like, one of us got hacked. This is fake. And so I deleted it off the docket. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
I was about to say, I didn't see this, so I have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's so funny because my friend gave me that link, and it just went to that, so I don't know what happened, but very, very weird.
Maybe I gotta update my ad block or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But yeah, and I only know about this. And actually, I'm going to mention 2 things really quick. Actually, yeah, we're going to hop back to this Hello Kitty conversation in a second. Are you 2 on Marcus the Worm TikTok? Please tell me you are.
No.
Oh my God. Oh, such a bummer. How about Le Poisson Steve? Are you on that? No. Oh my God.
Maybe. But I don't recognize it by name.
Is this your weird, cutesy, like, bisexual alt-girl TikTok site that me and Seth are not on because we're on Edgelord TikTok?
Clearly. Okay, well, I need to send you these because one, Le Poisson Steve is amazing. But
there's a group chat, Brie. We have a group chat. You're never in it.
What am I going to ignore if not the group chat?
I can't ignore the horrors that are happening in the world. I can ignore you 2 fuckers.
Me and Seth at least are good about not sending any 9/11 stuff to that group chat. He just puts that in mine and Emily's group chat.
I would say, in my defense, I am not on TikTok a lot, so it's less about me not specifically not checking them. I'm only on TikTok for like a couple minutes, like in between a phone call or something, and then I don't log on it again. But
my TikTok diet has definitely been cut down quite a bit.
It's too, my screen time goes crazy right now, and I'm like, I need help. So TikTok was a big problem, but I will send you some videos because Marcus the Worm is really sweeping the nation, and I'm so sad that you haven't heard about him. So
is it an actual worm?
It's a VR chat avatar.
Oh, that's why I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
It's all coming together now.
100%. And I don't, honestly, the only reason I know about this is because it crossed over with Le Poisson Steve. Like, everyone's like, oh, well, if you like him, you're gonna love Marcus the Worm. I'm like, what's Marcus the Worm? And then I haven't stopped.
Okay.
It's this tiny corner of TikTok. I will say this is what I love about TikTok. There are so many micro communities where I'm like, you haven't seen this thing? I was like, oh. Like,
I feel like Seth is actually the one person who has the broadest overlap with me of all of TikTok for the most part.
I could see that for sure.
And then every now I did start getting a lot more AI sex bots ads on TikTok stuff, and I'm directly blaming you.
I've started reporting them. I'm so sick of seeing them.
They're so bad. They are so bad.
They are.
I'm so grateful I've never seen this. But Sanrio, Hello Kitty, they're doing a competition right now for favorite character. And this is another part of TikTok I'm on because it has been very heated. And I don't know if either of you have or know any of like the Sanrio characters. There are so many of them. But Cinnamoroll is set to take the whole thing. So
oh wow,
dog.
It's a dog. Okay, not a cinnamon roll. Okay.
No.
Cool.
If I do know many of these characters, I didn't know that what they were affiliated with. I am familiar with Hello Kitty, but that's it that I can say for certain.
Right, but that's a brand in and of itself.
Yeah, so yeah, it's all under the Sanrio branch. So I'm trying to see if I can find. I wish I could find this for you very quickly because I was very insulted that I was like, oh wow, I guess Hello Kitty's where the line is, guys. Cool.
No, I'm so sorry.
My next homework assignment was going to be Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Yay!
Listen, don't threaten me with a good time.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
I'm throwing this in the doc really quick if you want to look at it. So there's a lot of cutie pies in there.
Yeah.
And Pom Pom Purin is also a really big one that's set to win. He's very cute. He's a little dog with a beret.
This is inherently adorable and very 2003.
Yeah.
Put it in the doc, not in.
Yes. I know. I started to, and I was like, oh, I guess the doc makes more sense. So.
Yeah.
Come on. Open the IRL.
Joke's on you. It's porn. No, I'm just kidding. Not.
Yeah, it's because we would all have a problem with that.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get any of this last time I opened it. It must have been my ad block or something.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been ad block.
That is a very cute cinema roll.
Right? He wins year after year. I get it. So.
Oh, I know that frog. number 7. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
It's Ikurobi.
I was about to say, there's
Kurobi,
a lot of
okay.
characters I recognize. There's, Agrasuko.
Oh, the fucking egg thing with the, like, face. I know that.
We know Gudetama.
This is like when you figure out, like, Hanna-Barbera was a thing back in the day, and, like, all of the cartoons that we used to watch were all under that brand.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, you always assumed it was a Warner Brothers thing.
It's true. There's a lot of overlap here. So, a lot of cutie pies.
Very.
If you have a favorite, let me know. I'm a big fan of number 14, which is like a little ghost. I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but very cute.
Oh, okay.
That's Sweetie Pie.
This is very cute, Brie.
I know, that's why I'm like,
this is adorable.
Like, just take a goosey little gander through that. Lots of cute options, and in these trying times, sometimes I just like looking at cute things.
I will
57
say
is just a gachapon machine.
Pretty much. I will say the Hello Kitty brand, like, as much it is easy to kind of make fun of, it is a very cute and strong brand, and like it's just fun for the most part.
No, I agree. And actually, I heard something very interesting recently. And I don't know how much like actual research has been on this, but I was watching something and they were mentioning that millennials are the first generation to kind of embrace childhood into their adulthood, whereas like that has been a very shameful thing up to this point. And it's because our lives are so hard and all we do is live in recession. So we're like, hey, I'm gonna buy some Hello Kitty stationery because I don't know, life's a nightmare.
we're constantly being forced to move back in with our parents. We're constantly like don't have access to actually grow up or anything else like that. So like, yeah, we're just like, cool. I'm just going to go back into things that make me comfortable and feel happy and like a kid again. Like I feel like we literally are a generation of Peter Pan syndrome. Like that is literally what our generation is at this point.
I kind of love that for us though, because I'm like, if it's gonna be a nightmare for us, we should at least be able to like buy cute stuffed animals and just like have cute things that make us happy and not embarrassed about it. I'm like, I love that for us. And if you want to be sad real, that's awesome.
I have a Charmander and a Bulbasaur plushie in my bedroom that I snuggle up to every night, and I don't even feel ashamed to say that.
Absolutely.
My sister did send me a video.
Way too many Power Morphers.
My sister sent me a video of small children doing the whole like picking their starter Pokemon.
Yeah, so cute.
And so I texted back. It's just like, if Tommy, my nephew, picks Squirtle, he's disowned from the family.
Hey now,
we're a Charmander. We are a Charmander and Bulbasaur household only.
I like we've talked about the starters before. I've always liked Squirtle. You two have pushed me to be like, no, it's Squirtle in my house. Like,
it's because you're our big man Blastoise.
Yeah, that sweet little baby needs love.
Squirtle was a little shit, and you know it.
This is a Bulbasaur house exclusively.
See, me and Brie are on the same page. Like, if it's not Charmander, it's Bulbasaur. Never Squirtle.
100%. My partner loves Squirtle though.
If we're doing fuck, marry, kill. I'm marrying Charmander, I'm fucking Bulbasaur, and I'm killing Squirtle.
Oh, that seed up top, I bet feels great.
I gotta go. What's that? Oh, I gotta take this. It's a very
sorry.
Ring,
ring. What? To hit the second tower. I gotta get out of here.
We already made our 9/11 joke today.
You're done. You're capped.
I didn't have one yesterday, and they roll over.
Oh, fair.
Like minutes.
We did. Yeah, we pushed a week, so you get half of a 9/11 joke on this episode.
Mark it off your bingo cards.
There we go. All right.
9/11 joke.
All right. Well, I think that wraps things up for this episode of Internet Friends. And the next homework assignment is me, and I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys.
Okay.
So instead of a homework assignment, we're gonna do something a little bit different next episode.
Oh boy.
So patch 8 for Baldur's Gate 3 dropped, which allows crossplay. Seth, I'll send you money.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you some money. Send me whatever payment app you prefer. And so instead of doing a homework assignment, we're going to play Baldur's Gate 3 together on co-op.
Hell yeah!
I will work out the production and logistical issues on my end.
I was saying the most challenging part is going to be coordinating our schedules.
Trust me. Yeah. We're going to basically run it a show, like a regular show, and I just want us to book like 3 hours because I feel like we're going to at least spend at least an hour in character creator.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so we're starting fresh with this.
Oh yeah, no, we're starting right from the beginning. Like it's just character creator. We'll probably get like not even scratching the surface of the first act. I've beaten it twice. Brie, I know you haven't gotten out of the first act.
Correct.
Seth, this would be fresh from you. I know you're really not a RPG type person, so this will be an interesting experience for you. But it's also going to be a good experience for you to kind of get to know like the D&D world and everything else like that. So I think this is just going to be a really fun idea.
I love this. I'm really excited.
Again, I will work on all the pre-production stuff behind the scenes. Anyways, I'm TCK Media on most platforms. You can find the Raccoon Loon herself, Brie, on many different platforms, but specifically her show Game Birds. You guys said you were coming back this month, and
I hope
you guys are slacking.
You got like 4 days for that not to be a lie.
But go check them out on YouTube and on podcasting platforms. They talk about indie games, and it's always a fun time. You got that Seth23. He actually does get paid from Tech Talks if he can make them last over a minute. So go ahead and just scroll through
for me,
page.
Lasting over a minute's always hard.
Yeah, true.
It was right there.
It was the lowest of hanging fruit from me today. I'm putting no effort in.
Absolutely not. But yeah, that's our show today. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.
I'm sorry.